We don't hear much from former President Barack Obama, but when we do hear from him, I wish that he would speak a little more about what's happening in the country in regard to Donald Trump and his terrible leadership. But nonetheless, he had some strong statements to make about woke culture and cancel culture during his annual summit in Chicago. This is a summit that he does every year for his foundation. And so during the Q&A portion, he was asked about woke culture, and here's what he had to say.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. Yep. People who do really good stuff have flaws. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right or used the wrong verb, or then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. Let me get on TV, watch my show, watch Grownish. That's not activism. That's not bringing about change.
So his statements, I think, can spark a really interesting conversation because, in my opinion, context matters. And the context in which he's thinking about in making those statements, I think matters. So who usually cries about purity tests the most, right? It's usually people who are establishment politicians, usually those on the left, who are angry at progressives, who want better politicians, who want politicians who actually look out for the working class. There's also woke culture and so-called cancel culture when it comes to social issues, when it comes to racial relations and all of that. So it really depends on the context. And I'm just curious what you guys think. I have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what Aida has to say too. But look, but before we get there, I want to separate this out into two different issues, because I really think they are, and I have totally different and divergent opinions on the two different issues. So one is calling out people on wrong verb, as Obama put it there, right? And there, I think he has a point to make. So I had Flame Monroe on the show recently. So she was part of the Tiffany Haddish special Day Ready that Aida was also in. You should check that out on Netflix. And so she's transgender and she doesn't give a damn, right? She's like, look, you can say this, you can say that. I'm from the old school. I don't care as long as you treat me right. And so now that's one camp. I'm closer to that camp, okay? There's the other camp that says, no, you gotta say everything exactly right. If you don't, you're a monster, right? And I understand why some of the people say things, and it depends on, well, what did you say, right? And it depends on the context, etc. Now, the second issue is about purity tests on a political level. So there, both the right wing in terms of the corporate Republicans, but also, as Anna pointed out, the corporate Democrats say, oh, no, we had to compromise and give the rich everything. And so now if you don't want to give the rich everything, I guess you want a purity test. No. So I don't want you making a deal with Mitch McConnell to massively lower taxes on the rich, as by the way, Obama and Biden did, okay? That's not a purity test. I just want you to do progressive things and not do conservative things. So a purity test would be, hey, guy's running in Montana and he's for Medicare for all and he's for Green New Deal and he's a wonderful progressive, but he doesn't have the same views as I do on gun control. Okay, that's a purity test. It depends. Are you in Montana? Are you in the New York City, Chicago? That depends on your state. So, but if you're Nancy Pelosi and you say, I'm not gonna do Medicare for all, I'm not gonna do Green New Deal, I'm not gonna fight to get money out of politics, I'm not gonna do any of the things that progressives want, and you go, oh, but then I guess you're not a progressive. She's like, a purity test, I can't believe, now you want me to do things that are actually progressive. Yeah, that's kind of the point. And Obama, unfortunately, is way closer to Pelosi, which is, I'll give you a little bit of change and get off my ass for not trying too hard.
So I think that President Obama does not talk about Donald Trump for a very, I think it's very strategic and calculated. Donald Trump is always talking about Obama. Every time he turns around, it's Obama this, Obama that. I think Obama gets it, that we should have a blackout Donald Trump day where we don't tweet about him, we don't mention him. I swear to goodness, he will jump off a building to get attention.
He might spontaneously combust.
Yeah, he was. So I think
thrives on attention.
There's something about the fact that Obama never dignifies him with even a word, and it has to eat him up on the inside because he does some weird things to Obama's name. The other thing I was gonna say, this is my sweet spot. I believe in nuance, right? We don't ever live in nuance because everything is so extreme. I understand as a person of color why woke culture can be annoying, because a lot of the people who've taken on woke culture are the people who don't live the experiences of the marginalized, and they take on this role of being like the buffer between the victim of the marginalization and the people who are doing it, and it can be insulting, and sometimes it doesn't come from a genuine place. Like I told you, they have management companies now that manage talent that have causes, because they say activism has gone mainstream. And you know what happens when things go mainstream? They start making money for people and they don't really care about what the real issues are anymore. So I understand what he's saying. That being said, it's not okay. There's an intention behind certain things, and malice and ignorance are two different things. And we like to, conflate the two, right? Like I retweeted somebody who used the T word, right? And for transgender people, I did not know that was an offensive term because it had not been named one at the time. But I was retweeting another comedian, and I had a lot of transgender people come and tell me that I was not part of the movement, and that was hurtful. I had no idea that was a word that I wasn't supposed to use, because I've seen so many transgender people use the word. So I didn't know, right? But if I would have been an emotional person who was disingenuous, they would have lost a person who actually really cares about their group, that was actually willing to go fight the fight for the betterment of their lives. And that is where you lose me.
Yeah.
Like you lose me in that place where it's condescending, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that what gets left out of those conversations is intent, right? So did this person have ill intent in the statement they might have tweeted or in something that they might have said? There's a lot of ignorance out there, right? And I'm not saying that to insult. I'm saying that because ignorance it doesn't mean they're stupid. It means you just don't know better, right? And look, let's keep it real. Our language and standards for language it's constantly changing, constantly evolving, and what is deemed acceptable and unacceptable does change, right? Yeah. And so when people go back and make comments about, let's say, which words comedians use like a decade ago in their stand-up, and they criticize that comedian because they used offensive words. Well, yeah, 10 years ago, those words, whether you like to believe it or not, were acceptable, right? And our culture has changed. So like all of these little nuances don't get discussed. And I just think that when you automatically jump to the conclusion of, this is a bad person, I'm canceling them, I don't even want to have a conversation, well, you miss out on an opportunity to actually have a conversation and help educate people on what the reality is.
Like what Bernie said the other day when he was asked by that black young man what about the police, and even though the question, the way he answered it felt kind of, it was off-putting, right? He's a white man, and tell me what's the right answer to that question. There's no way he's gonna answer that question and somebody's not gonna walk away pissed off. There's no way he could answer that question that way, right? Yeah. Because the truth is, he doesn't know what it's like to be a black man getting pulled over by the police. But what he does know is that there's an issue with law enforcement, because if he says, don't get shot in the head, that makes a big statement about what he feels about law enforcement at this very moment, right? No, not many people would be brave to even say that, because they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna piss the police off, the union or whatever. Yeah. I'm not endorsing Bernie, so don't come for me with that foolishness, because you know how I get down. But the other thing is that I wanna say is, if we operated from the belief that America is inherently racist, right? Because it is embedded in the fiber, in the culture. It's inherently sexist. then we can operate from a real place where we can tackle these issues and not walk around canceling people because they do stuff that's racist and sexist when it's part of the culture of America. It's a worldwide thing, right? But we want to pretend that those things don't happen along with many other things. And then people say something like, oh, I'm done with this person. The reality of it is that they teach white people to be racist and they teach people of color to hate themselves. That's very profitable and it's been going on forever. It is downright as American pie. So when we sit here and we start canceling people, we're gonna run out of people. Right. Because you can't cancel everybody, right?
And it's part of divide and conquer.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is. And the other thing is real activism is not on Twitter and it's not on Facebook. That's just one little slither of it. Real activism is going to talk to those people who don't think like you and say, hey man, let's have a conversation, because obviously you can't just cancel everybody. I've had conversations with KKK people and been able to have a real conversation with someone. It's easy for me to go with the homies and say, racism is bad. And they'll be like, yeah, racism. We should start a hashtag. We're gonna be hot on Twitter.
We're gonna be hot on Twitter.
Come on, let's do something for real in real life.
Yeah, as usual, I love what I just said. We're gonna run out of people. We cancel everybody. Okay, but look, last thing, I'm back to politics. I do have a less charitable view of Obama than what you said, Aida. Like, part of the reason he doesn't get involved with Trump, although I agree with you that we should, like I don't follow Trump on Twitter out of principle because he's so proud of his Twitter followers.
Yeah.
I gotta look him up every once in a while because he's the president and he says crazy stuff, right? But I won't follow him.
Same.
But Obama's different. Obama cares so much about etiquette and his legacy.
Yeah, I agree.
So he's like, oh, former presidents aren't supposed to talk about current presidents. Yeah, under normal situations. But when the country's on the edge of fascism, it might help for a really popular ex-president to speak up every once in a while. And the other reason he doesn't speak up is because Trump drags everyone down in the mud with him. So I get it. If I was Obama, I wouldn't want to do it either, because he's right now, Obama, especially compared to Trump, is pretty beloved. And he's got great poll numbers, he's got a solid legacy, etc. They don't want to roll in the mud with Donald Trump. But that's where the rest of us are. So, if you don't come down here, you're not gonna be able to give us a hand up so we can get up out of this mess.
No, I think he should speak, but I think that it has a lot to do with when they go low, we go high, like that. All that's lost. All is lost. They've gone low through the ground, the tunnels. They flipped around in the dirt. They're eating the dirt. Now it's Lord of the Flies out here, baby. We're not there no more.
Yeah. So he's aloof, but in a way that I don't think is helpful. And then when he comes in, kind of subtext is yelling at progressives, hey, settle down, you don't want too much change. Your placards said the word change on them, so I'll take that under advisement. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.